This is my dog Lily. She's 6 years old and lives with my parents in downtown Tokyo. And this is me, 21 years old, and I've been feeling sort of lost as I figure everything out. Something we both have in common is that we probably feel our best running around crazy in some sort of nature. So I just decided to go for it. My core plan was to basically just budget hard, stay only one night, and bring my camera in hopes of inspiration. The only problem was that we were going at the peak fall foliage season in Japan, and prices for accommodation were soaring already. But sometimes you just have to look further, have some trust, and you may just find a gem. So here's how we spent our first day at the lake. It was pretty out of the way, adding almost an hour to my drive, but curiosity got the best of me and we went to one of the Fuji 5 lakes, Lake Kawaguchi. Specifically, I stopped by a little spot called Fuji Oishi Hana Terrace, an area like a little town of its own, complete with boutique stores, cafes, and amazing lighting. We walked through the gardens, which, although it was cloudy, offered a clear view of Fuji. We also explored the shops and sat down for a snack to soak it in for a second. It was late afternoon at this point, and before leaving, we walked to the entry point for the lake to catch a final glimpse along with the local wildlife. And this was one of the best last traces of light to experience, and a really magical, calming view before setting off for the night. I woke up early the next morning and took things slow and natural, the way it should be in the mountains. Speaking of which, I've been trying to take my mornings gently, reflecting on what has led me to now and what I will do with my now for the future. Waking up somewhere with light and nature has had a major impact on my entire day, and this is a key part of where I choose to stay. So let me introduce you to this hidden gem. The accommodation ended up being one of my favorite parts of this getaway, with the kindest owners you can meet. This is the breakfast they served in their 100-year-old main house, which was absolutely delicious. The property itself is pretty big and consists of the main house, which on the inside is retro decorated, filled with vintage furniture, diner-esque posters and figures, and some sweet old-school music playing constantly. The inner house also runs as a cafe and sells some baked treats in a sort of Americana style. Tucked in the corner, there is also a mini store featuring a variety of natural products. Outside of the main house, there is a yard and two smaller DIY tiny homes outside, which is where I stayed. It was comfortable, beautiful, and an entirely homey feeling that felt closer to staying with an old friend rather than a hotel. They even let me leave late so that I could finish filming. We set off around 11 in the morning to another Google Maps find, an area full of warmth, life, and soft, gentle ambience. This is the amazing Shosenkyo Gorge. It's actually known as one of Japan's most beautiful gorges, which I must say lived up to that name. We were greeted by the most beautiful trail with the most perfect weather we could have been blessed with that day. There was something about it that really calmed my heart for a second and let me breathe, forgetting about the stresses that I've been carrying around. The trail itself takes about an hour and a half to walk around, and Lily and I walked about an hour before turning back. Even though it was peak season and midday, the crowds weren't that bad, so I suggest exploring on a weekday. As someone who has lived in Japan for more than half of my life, this is somewhere I'd honestly say was one of the most beautiful trails I've ever seen here. All in all, through my mini getaway, I just wanted to give my dog a new experience and hopefully get used to traveling with her more, holding that responsibility for a living creature and maybe making their day a bit more special. So for everyone visiting Tokyo or living here, whether it's by bus, train, or car, there are so many nature-filled spots all around the area that have something amazing to offer you. Thank you for watching.